How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the GVTV Podcast. Hey, this is our second episode. Thanks for coming back. I'm your host, Griffin Sheridan, and as always, every month, I've got another guest with me from GVTV, and this month we've got my good friend, Eric Peck.
How's it going, Griffin?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's nice to be here this morning to film this podcast. I've never been on a podcast before.
Well, I'm so glad to pop your podcast cherry, Eric.
That's a way to put it.
That's the only way to put it.
I love this
if you ask me.
podcast. I actually listen to it every morning on my commute to work.
All one episode of it.
Yeah, I mean, my commute's only 2 minutes, so it's taken a while to really get through that first episode.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, well, I appreciate you listening, bud.
You're welcome.
Okay, so it's the GVTV Podcast. Mm-hmm. We talk about GVTV stuff up front here. Eric, tell me about how you found GVTV and what those first steps into being part of the club was like.
I first came to GVTV so I came here my sophomore year. I went to college at U of M Flint for my freshman year. So I came here sophomore year, and I was doing theater over at U of M Flint. But I wanted to continue acting, but more of like that film aspect. So I got this email saying, hey, casting call for a TV show called Catastrophe, which is like this, The
Infamous.
Office. It's like The Office,
Yes.
but with college students and being broke and stuff like that. So I'm like, I want to be on that. So, I auditioned for that. Kyle was actually, I think he was the assistant director for that show. And I got the part of a Mormon. And if you know me, that's the perfect role for me, a Mormon.
Eric is the whitest man I know.
That's so true. But anyway, yeah, I was a Mormon, and we filmed one episode. I got to be the Mormon for about 5 minutes in that episode, and then we wrote like 4 or 5 other scripts. We were ready to keep going with this, and then it just got canceled. The director was like, I'm done with film. I'm dropping out. I'm going to Colorado to climb the damn mountains. We're like, this whole team's just sitting here like, what do we do now? And the episodes never went up.
Some of the fresher faces in GVTV may not remember the catastrophe that was Catastrophe. But it was exactly that. Ask around for the stories. I wasn't a part of it. I don't want to say anything. But I did hear that it was a bit of a catastrophe.
It was on the production side, yeah. The writing team was fun. It was like 15 or 20 people in a writing room, and we were just putting as many ideas possible out there, and some of them were really fun. Was it coherent story that we were telling? Absolutely not. But it was a fun time. It was good.
Well, hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So then you sort of vaguely get involved with a little show called A Late Night Brew.
Yeah.
The show that I was a part of. That's actually how we met.
No, we actually met, I think, with Closeted Hemispheres, our 36-hour film festival.
I feel like that would have been, I think, more or less around the same time, right? That was like January of 2018.
Yeah.
And that's also when we were holding auditions for a new host of Late Night Brew and everything like that. Eric was one of those fellows that auditioned, and
I didn't get it.
Did not get it.
I was heartbroken.
To the chagrin of some people.
My mom, I was like,
oh no.
My career's going nowhere, Mom. I can't get a role on Late Night Brew.
Oops.
No offense. I'm not saying, but I couldn't get it.
So you were on there as crew, and that's really where we met and started hanging out. And so, hey, right here's a perfect example, folks. You meet some of your best friends here in GVTV. So it's a great thing. Late Night Brew. It has its ups, it has its downs. I think we put together some really solid stuff because, of course, when we get to season 2, you become the host because, of course, then we were friends and everything, and I'm just like, okay, Eric is definitely someone that I bounce off of and someone that we need to be putting on the show. Yeah. And so you became the full second host of Late Night Brew starting last fall. Yeah. And then we did 6 episodes of Late Night Brew. Yes.
They all start to, it's not just standard 6. They all kind of delve into weird stuff too.
Yeah. The first couple were about as good as we could get with the format that we had already done. Yeah. And then the rest were Late Night Hugh, the documentary episode. Yeah.
I don't remember the last one. It was
we got the one
the farewell,
the one shot in episode 5 where we trip on some sort of thing that Hugh gave us. Yeah. Hugh's tea. Hugh Boyd's tea.
Probably one of my favorite bits that we've done on the show.
Absolutely.
We always go back to it like once a month, and we're like, this is fun. This was good.
It was done. I think it was done well.
I think so.
So I want to talk about first the documentary episode because it was put together by our buddy Ben Tisworth and with some help from Garrett and Rob and Hugh. And I think that is probably one of the best things that I've ever seen on GVTV.
Oh, absolutely.
Not to have too much, sort of patting ourselves on the back or anything, but that episode I think is super fun because I think some people watch it and they're like, this is not real. It's 100% real.
It's so real.
That's the best part about it.
For like a full month and a half, 2 months, when it was, you guys were actually making it, you guys kept saying, you're in something and you have no idea what it is, and it'll be like in script grading class. I'm like, what is it? What did I do?
Ben had let me in on it, and then of course I was working with them on some parts of it, of course the reenactments of it and everything. And I was just like, holy shit, this is hilarious. This is going to be good. And for months, we just teased the shit out of this kid. Just like, hey, I just had something big's coming.
We should state, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, you should probably go watch it. And then
Late Night Brew, Season 2, Episode 4. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I remember specifically, I'm walking to Kirkhoff to film. I think it was our Little Silva Lot of Gold bit from Season 2. And I get a phone call from Hugh, and he's like, it was some stupid thing where like, hey man, I stole a couple of these my friend's beers and I'm not giving them back. Is this wrong? I'm like, what is clearly something is happening. This is a bit that's going on. I'm like, of course it's wrong. He's like, I'm just kidding. I know it's wrong. I'll see you, man.
He has Hugh on the phone at that point, and then I'm also in the room, and I was like, Hugh's doing the documentary right now. That's funny.
It was, yeah.
And this kid doesn't have a clue.
I had no idea until it actually was screened. Which is impressive. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
to keep
we
that
did a
under
good
wraps.
job of keeping it under wraps. So let's talk about, I guess, like, what are some things you would say that you take away from that experience on Late Night Brew? As we've already said, some episodes are better than others, some bits are better than others, but needless to say, though, it was still just like a huge chunk of our time here.
It was.
And involved a lot of people from the club, and I think it was still like a super special, super awesome experience.
Oh yeah. No, there's times where I truly do miss it. It was a really good time. Even with just being like the host and acting, I still got a lot of the pre-production, post aspects, and learned a lot from it, whether it be like writing, editing. It was a really good time, and I've taken a lot from that and been able to apply it into my later stuff. So that experience is definitely, it's going to last with me for a while. Yeah. And yeah, no, it was fun hosting this late night talk show at Grand Valley. Yeah. That not a lot of people seen, but it created a lot of fun inside jokes with just the friend group that we've created with GVT.
Absolutely, and I think one way or another, it's experience, and experience is crucial, and especially like set experience, just learning that things are not going to go right, and it's going to take 10 times longer than you expect to set things up. So hey, just a little plug here: if you're not working on a show for GVTV, get in here, work on a show, because not only do you meet some really good friends, but also you get some really good experience and have the time of your life.
You also get the opportunity to pitch your own show.
Absolutely.
For what is it, half a year?
Yep.
One semester?
Yep.
It's real quick.
So go for it.
Yeah.
That's all we have to say. We kind of just took Late Night Brew, which was actually an idea that had started before even I was involved. It was one episode, someone had kind of vaguely started doing it. There was one pilot, and then they stopped. And then they called me and Mike Klajinsky in, and we did that first bit, and then the second half, season 1, and then all of season 2, which is like,
I will say,
it's like our brainchild. I feel like we spent so much time trying to figure that show out.
Season 1 was cool, it was fun, but season 2 became such more stylized, as we really was like, we can really do whatever we want.
Absolutely,
here.
we went out of our way to make the Saturday Night Live intro.
Yeah,
that was super
probably
fun.
My favorite part, and I think that still stands as one of like the best pieces of it. It just feels so authentic and real. And then just having like bits like dads when we wrote in our, what would be, sophomore year, drunk. We're like, That's right. What if we had 7 dads?
What about this? How about this surreal sort of bit? Isn't this hilarious?
Yeah, and then that's when we were like, we got to create the Zoe 101 podcast.
It's coming.
It's coming, yeah,
It's
that's
coming.
true. I'm going to go through every episode of Zoe 101.
Zoe 101, 101.
And just go through the narrative and what they did right and wrong.
Break down those iconic characters and see why they stick with us.
But we can't do that until Netflix has put it on their streaming service. So how about you get on top of that? You'll put Victorious on there, but not Zoe 101. Come on.
I'm holding out for just the Nickelodeon streaming service. You went to Netflix. I think Nickelodeon's just going to get their own streaming service. And
that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, probably.
That's not even a joke. That's true.
That's probably
it's gonna happen.
Real. But yeah, not to spend too much time in this land of nepotism and being like late night brew.
Look at us. We're so talented.
Look at this. This is almost like a new episode of Late Night Brew, except not, because we're not in any sort of persona.
I feel like we're always in a persona right when we get on camera, just a tad bit.
A little bit.
It's just whether we heighten it more.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me what you're up to film-wise right now.
Film-wise, yeah, I'm making I have a group that we're making a documentary on a cult called The 12 Tribes. Production on that thing has been all over the place. We interviewed an ex-member who's written a book on his experience in it. It's just this international cult that has like 70 different tribes all across the world. And we've actually met with one of the communities the cult exists at down in somewhere in Michigan. I forgot where it's at. But we visited their community. We had lunch with them, talked to them for about 3 or 4 hours, and then they were like, "Yeah, you can't film us. You can't. We don't want to be on your screen. You're gonna screw us over." And we're like, well, "Crap, what do we do now?" So now we're in the process of like spinning this, finding a new way to approach this cult and make it actually interesting. And it's tough to do when you don't have your actual subject matter that you're focused on wanting to be on camera, wanting to give you information. It's really been a challenge, and really like it's an experience again I'll take with me in the future for sure.
Totally. I already knew all about that, but I asked it because I want the viewers, the listeners to know about it. A cult? Yo, you can do anything. You can do anything.
Yeah.
Make your movie.
Yeah.
Make your thing. Make your doc. Make your GVTV show.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Who cares? Just make it.
Just make it, man.
Absolutely.
Do what you love.
Well, we're also working on another thing on campus for vaguely for the film video major. We are helping out a whole lot with Cinespace, the new film series on campus that is put together by Professor Spencer Everhart. Over the summer, Eric and I worked with Professor Everhart to get all of that put together, give him some insight on what the students might be thinking and what works, what doesn't work. And now here we are with just 3 screenings left of the 10 that we started off with, which is unbelievable to think that we're that far into the semester. But here we are. Quick plug, go ahead, check out. I don't know when this episode's going to come out, but see what screenings are coming up. They're every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. in Lake Superior Hall 174.
If you really want to like expand the movies that you usually watch, whether it be like if you're more focused on like the blockbuster Marvels or the I don't know, just a specific type, this will really expand. We've done like experimental animation, we've had indie filmmaking, we've gone all across the board, all genres. It's a lot of fun. And then there's of course the discussion afterwards, where if you haven't met Spencer Everhart, he's a scholar when it comes to films. You learn a lot from him. Absolutely. And certain filmmaking process or thoughts when making it, it's a good time. And you get, of course, to put your piece into it, like what you think of the film. He wants to know that. So it's another opportunity to really just grow as a filmmaker.
Totally. We spend a lot of time on this show and, of course, just in general in the film video major talking about production. We have a lot of production classes. This club is a fantastic opportunity to make some stuff, and that's fantastic. And I think that is a super awesome thing that the campus and the university provides. But I think that, and this was part of the reason why Everhart came up with the idea of doing the film series, is that we have all these opportunities to make stuff, but we don't really take too many opportunities to watch and discuss stuff in a sort of group setting outside of class.
Almost
right?
never.
Almost never.
That's why that's why Letterboxd is so popular. Like,
Yeah.
Like people want to have their voice about a film, and there's not many opportunities for that. So when there is one, take that advantage.
Absolutely. And I think what Everhart has done with CineSpace here is create a super welcoming environment for not just film majors, but anybody that's looking to dive into some interesting pieces of art and figure out why they work for you, why they don't work for you, and just kind of grow as a person. I think it's crucial to just take stuff in and then get your thoughts out there and to let your thoughts mingle with other people's thoughts and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's crucial to figuring out who you are as an artist, but also to expanding your mind as a person in general. So, CineSpace, it's the best. We have watched some super awesome movies in there.
We have.
So far. What has been your favorite so far?
Ooh, that's tough. That's really tough. Oh, God. What were the movies again? We have Spier.
We've watched Miracle Mile.
That's tough. I don't know.
Miracle Mile was fantastic. A sort of a late 80s apocalypse film. Sort of just kind of like the world ends out of nowhere. It was a lot of fun. We watched Shin Godzilla.
Yep. Then we had Punch Drunk Love.
Yep. Then Cure?
No, Faces maybe?
Faces, Cure.
Cure, The Thing.
Yep.
What a beautiful...
It's such a beautiful day.
Yeah. I don't know. They're all so different. That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing. You can't like rank them because to rank them, that would mean that they're all on the same spectrum of filmmaking. That's like they're so different that, which is what Spencer wanted. It's impossible to rank them.
Yeah, totally.
They're my
There's
favorite because each one has so many different elements that I like, maybe don't like. It'd be doing a disservice to say this one's my favorite.
Totally. And that's also a super cool point about the club is that there is something for everybody, right? And even if you see the list and you're like, I don't know if any of those stand out to me. First off, you're crazy. We have a Godzilla movie on there, and Point Break is our last one.
Oh yeah.
Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves.
That one's
like,
gonna be fun.
Sign me up. I'm in. There's something for everybody there, and even if you don't see one that immediately stands out to you, go check it out because that's kind of the point of all of it, right? Is to push yourself into these uncomfortable situations. And of course, there's nothing super uncomfortable. It's just watching a movie that you don't think you'll be too interested in. But that's the first step, I think. So. Super, super awesome stuff, and like Eric said, Everhart is just the most well-spoken genius dude in the film major. I don't know what else to say.
We'll go see like the film like Joker,
Yes.
and then we're in there in this class, we're like giving it our ideas on it, and then we'll get an email from him 2 days later, this like essay using so articulate and using language that I'm like. Sometimes I don't even know what you're saying, man. But it's just so in depth and such. He knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely,
It's very interesting to hear his piece on every film that comes out.
More of us plugging stuff that we are a part of.
Haha.
Check it out. At the time of podcast is just self-promotion at the end of the day.
You fell for it. 18
Gotcha.
minutes in and you fell for it.
Stupid idiots. So we got 3 films left at the time of recording. That is Songs from the Second Floor, Lovers on the Bridge. Songs from the Second Floor is somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, you said it's
European,
like a
I think
dark
maybe
comedy.
Yeah, I think it might be from Dutch or Germany. I don't know. I cannot
84?
remember. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't know either.
It's back then.
Everhart says it's strange.
Yeah.
But fun.
Come on, man.
God damn it.
Get it together.
Lovers on the Bridge is a French film that I've only seen some clips of when I was putting together the trailer for CineSpace. It looks super sweet. And then, of course, Point Break, like we said, is going to be the week before finals. So if you're looking to relieve some stress, come on by. Check it out. It's going to be awesome.
Yep.
All right, Eric.
All right, enough of CineSpace.
Okay, GVTV. Thumbs up. We got production stuff on campus.
Yes.
CineSpace, awesome stuff.
Yep.
Check it out so then you get that viewing and discussing of films, which is also super important. You put those two together, you've got yourself a fantastic film education, I think.
Yeah.
Also, CineSpace, it's going to be around next semester. So if you missed a whole bunch of it this semester, don't worry. Spencer's going to put together another list next semester, and it's going to be just as awesome. So if you missed this time, we hope to see you there next time. All right, let's talk about some movies that we saw recently in this closing part here. We've seen. We are actually part of the AMC Stubbs A-list. Thank you very much.
We're getting paid to say this right now.
That bit at the AMC thing where they're like, "Thanks to our A-list members," and then everyone in the audience is like,
"Who that?" And we're just like,
we're
in the back cheering.
That's us, everybody.
As we just
that's us.
Feed the corporate head.
Listen, if you see 2 or 3 movies a month.
Just two.
Just two. Just two.
If you're in Chicago, when I was in Chicago, I just need to see one because one ticket there was $17.
Listen, it's a deal, people. It's a deal. I'm gonna go ahead and plug that. Celebration is gonna start their own version of it soon, which Celebration's got more and better theaters in the area. So, if you're into that, go for that. Either way, though, we have this movie subscription service, so we see a whole bunch of movies.
Yeah.
Recently, we've seen Parasite, The Lighthouse, Jojo Rabbit, some of these Oscar buzz movies that have been coming out here. Tell me which one of those 3 stuck out to you the most?
Oh my God, I hate these questions. That one's so loaded.
Because they're all interesting.
Parasite, without a doubt, is the most well-crafted film out of the 3.
Parasite is a masterpiece, I think.
It's unbelievable. The more time I've sat on it, the more I can't believe that film exists. It's just so strong narratively. Directing, acting, everything in it is just so strong that there's not really a flaw in it. What's your opinion on Parasite?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, I thought you did.
Yeah, no, it's
I can't tell
incredible.
because you don't rate stuff on Letterboxd.
What can I say? I think it's arbitrary and pointless.
Yeah, shut up. Just shut up.
I'm that guy.
He is that guy.
No, Parasite was incredible, and there's a lot of talk right now about, especially with Martin Scorsese's piece in the New York Times, right, talking about Marvel movies being theme parks and all that stuff. I don't agree with his statements about this idea that Marvel movies might be something other than
he's putting it the
cinema.
wrong way.
I think it's just his analogy has kind of been taken the wrong way. I don't think he necessarily means in a literal sense that they aren't movies.
Do you think this is okay? Do you think this is just like a marketing scheme though, to be like, wow, he has such these strong opinions. Irishman must be amazing.
No. I mean, it comes out of.
It's weird how it just comes out right when Irishman's about to drop,
that's when
though.
He's doing press rounds and stuff.
That's fair. That's fair.
Questions about Marvel movies come out because for some reason people care to ask Martin Scorsese about Marvel movies. He doesn't care, guys. He doesn't care.
I guess I'd be pretty angry too if someone's like, "What do you think of Marvel?"
Yeah,
it's like, I don't care.
Yeah. But if you've read his full piece in the New York Times, a lot of it is mostly about distribution and how just because these blockbusters, primarily in the form of Marvel superhero films, are just behemoths at the box office, and that sort of creates this complex for theaters in the fact that, listen, they need to make money, right? They got to show the things that are going to make some cash, and get people in the doors. And right now, that's just proven to be these superhero movies. But movies like Parasite and Jojo Rabbit, although Jojo Rabbit I think gets a little bit of a leg up. It's directed by Taika Waititi, who has very quickly slipped into the mainstream.
He's a Marvel director, so
of course, so
people want to see him.
He's here. But I think it's important to see these movies, and I think it's important to discuss these movies and encourage others to go see these movies, especially some foreign films like Parasite, which of course is a Korean film. And I think it's super important to see those and go out and support those. So no matter what we say about the movies or what anybody else says about the movies, I think just go see for yourself, whether you think it's going to be your thing or not. It's important to make sure that theaters and all the higher-ups, the companies, the corporate side of filmmaking and everything knows that there's an interest in this. And I think that's what Scorsese is mostly getting at, is that we want to have the superhero movies and the Korean films and the indie films all just in the same theater.
I believe he's saying something too about they do take over the box office. We said this over a year ago, I believe, when we went to see 8th Grade, was that if you want these small theaters that are trying to survive in the world, they need to play the popular films. But if they want to play the popular films like any Marvel, any Disney thing, I think they have to have it in the theater for at least 6 weeks. They're forced to have it in there for 6 weeks. And those theaters that only maybe have 2 or 3 theaters, and if there's a Disney movie coming out every 6 weeks, a new one every 2 months, then they can't play any new stuff or indie films that maybe not getting enough attention. So they're kind of like, these indie films are being forced to be pushed down and not seen by the general public.
Yeah, no, it's rigged.
Yeah.
It's terrible. But, and listen, we're not saying that you can't go and enjoy a Marvel movie. I like the Marvel movies. I like
Do you?
watching them.
No way.
Get the fuck out of here. God damn it.
The Spider-Man podcast guy likes Marvel movies?
Well, listen, we're done with this podcast, okay? The episode is over. We're going to wrap it up now because Eric is being mean to me.
Hey, no, it's a good thing. You guys should check it out. Plug your podcast,
No,
man.
I'm not going to plug my other stuff.
Plug it.
No.
Okay.
But listen, go see the movies you want to go see, but at the end of the day, you should know that the whole landscape benefits when that is a diverse selection. Whatever you want to see, as long as you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff, it should be good. Don't just go see those. If you care about film and if you care about movie theaters too, I think like you gotta go and like support everything they're putting in there.
Inherently, if you care about film, you should automatically be seeing. You shouldn't be forcing yourself to see these movies. You should already care and want to. To because you gain more from that. You're gonna get more stories and narratives that will help you further as a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
But not everybody watching is a film major or is interested in making film. And to that I say, well, hey, I think film is still a very crucial part of the art world, and the art world
kind of dominates.
Is very. I mean, it definitely does. It's got the widest audience of any of the other forms, but the art world is also super important. We need to have it in the world, so just support it in whatever way that is, as long as you're not being a dick. That's my catchphrase. As long as you aren't being a dick, you're good.
I thought you said no. You said when you walked in here, no cursing on this podcast.
I don't know the rules.
Break your own rules.
I do not know the rules. Can we swear on this?
I don't know.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna do it.
Just bleep it.
Just bleep it. Yeah.
Put a little GVTV logo over our mouths. It'd be pretty good.
I love it.
Like what you like and don't be a dick.
You.
Oof.
I'm sorry. I wanted one over my mouth.
Oh, we gotta wrap it up.
We wanted one over my mouth. No, we have 2 more films to discuss.
No, we're at the time limit, Eric.
We still have 3 minutes. Quick.
Okay.
This is rapid fire.
I loved Jojo Rabbit.
Why'd you love Jojo Rabbit?
I think it's very warm, and some people are worried that it's normalizing Nazi culture, except the Nazis are constantly the butt of the joke.
It's not normalizing. It's saying. It's almost like a broad construct that like you might be supporting this idea that you think is the right way, but it's being able to find that, hey, no, maybe this isn't the right way, and coming to terms to that your old ideas can die to create a new life.
Yeah.
And
Jojo Rabbit didn't normalize Nazi culture. America did. Damn it.
A film normalizing. Come on. Did you? I almost cried. I had tears welling up.
I was definitely crying in Jojo Rabbit.
That's awesome.
There is an emotional sucker punch in that movie that I was not expecting.
Yeah. Child acting's great.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, Taika Waititi is hilarious, even when he's playing Shitler. I don't think we need to bleep that because that guy is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And the movie makes a good takes many shots at him. Don't worry about it. It's not like
the whole thing is a joke about
the
how
whole thing.
Like, it's all a joke about Nazi culture and like
the Nazis would hate. The Nazis do hate this. I'm assuming. I don't know.
He even said like it's a disservice. It's a insult for me to play Hitler right now. It's an
Taika
insult to him.
Waititi is a Jewish director, and it's hilarious inherently. I feel like.
Yes, but people don't realize that. But whatever, that's fine.
That's fine. Go see it for yourself and judge.
And we have The Lighthouse.
And The Lighthouse. Robert Eggers. And he directed The Witch, also from A24. I thought a lot of the technical stuff, like the grading of the black and white footage was really good. The use of the restrained aspect ratio creates this sense of being trapped in that movie.
Biggest thing, though, the performances are unbelievable. There's some of the, performances that will last with me for probably the best. One of the best performances of the decade from both Willem and
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson.
There are certainly some really tense moments. in the movie, and they've both proven themselves as performers already. So
yeah.
Robert Pattinson's accent.
They've proven themselves, but not a lot of people know that Patterson is one of the best actors of our generation, I think.
Patterson, I think, is a bear. Pattinson is Robert Pattinson.
Wait, what?
Paddington is a bear. Patterson, Paddington. I don't know movies. I don't know the names of animated bears. Pooh and Paddington are both animated bears.
They
you
are.
said Patterson, and I was like, Patterson, that's not it.
Paddington? You thought it was Paddington?
Robert Paddington is the
British bear.
Dude, I can't wait for Robert Paddington to play Batman. That's going to be so sick.
That's going to be a fun one. That'll be good.
That's going to be so good. Just
Boy.
a little bear running around in a Batman suit. And everyone's like, this is so nice. It's the nicest little movie ever. I love it.
This is just straight out of the source material. I'm so glad they adapted it that well.
They adapted the iconic run where Batman is Paddington the bear. Okay.
30 minutes goes by so quick.
It does,
when you
but
talk about film and friends and fun. 3 Fs.
That's 100% it. Those are the 3 Fs of life. And I say, thanks for watching, folks.
Yeah.
GVTV Podcast is here every single month, so we'll be back next month with one more episode for the semester, I think. Yes, wonderful. I'll be back. I don't know who's going to be the guest on that one, but stay tuned and find out. Eric, thanks so much for being here, man.
Hey, you're welcome. And also, I think it should be known that there are plenty more other podcasts, too, I think being produced by The Will at GV.
Yes.
So go check those out, too. If you're just a fan of this art format, I think you should see what other people are creating as well.
Absolutely. Either way, like what you like, and don't be a dick.
You got that right.
That's an
Thanks.
episode.